A very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the Tuesday edition of the show. I'm Yemi Adebaya. Well, the dust has settled. Let me put it that way. It didn't go the way we planned, but of course, that's football. One of the three possible outcomes of a football game is what happened. The Super Eagles of Nigeria against Zimbabwe today. Of course, ended a goal apiece, and we're here to do a post-mortem of what happened today, and of course, so many other issues in your fast-paced, money-spinning, entertaining world of sports. And we bid you to sit back, relax, as we take you along on this interesting ride. It's a two-man show. My colleague, Austin Okonakman, is ready as we go along on this ride.
What a greetings to you, and of course, everyone joining us on the show tonight. Always an action-packed world of sports. It seems the lights has just gone off on the Super Eagles and their quest to qualify for the 2026 FIFA World Cup. What a game of football against Zimbabwe. Things just got tougher for the Super Eagles. Maybe this time we might just document the lessons and find a way to, change all of these, should I say, shenanigans happening with football development in Nigeria. But it was a sad result, particularly to concede at the time they did in a crucial game such as this. You win that game, you would have gotten relevance on that Group C table, move to second on the log, and see where football will take you to. This is one of those nights where it's so difficult to analyze football as a Nigerian.
We won't do that to ourselves tonight. We're going to smile and talk about it. Some will say all hope is not lost just yet. All right, let me start by introducing one of the guests we have with us in the Lagos studio tonight. Luadamiloju Saliu joins us on the show. Damiloju, greetings to you. Thanks for finding time to be with us on a busy day like this. Thanks for joining us on the show.
It's always good to be on sports tonight, even though this evening is not the most encouraging of evenings if you are a close supporter of the Super Eagles. It seems that we had a formula in place for the calculations that we wanted to do. And now with the events of this evening, we need to bring in another formula, more calculators, and maybe some bit of prayers.
Wow. I don't know where to start from, but let me get your thoughts. I don't want to do much of the talking. Hopefully, we're going to get one of our other friends join us on the show so that we can try to pick the pieces. For some, they say it's over. For some, they say if it is down to mathematics, it's not over.
Yeah.
Some say if it is down to how we have played, let's forget it. So, which is it for you?
So, generally, usually when we have conversations like this, you always make the joke about how I always come with the calculators. And I'm someone that likes to work with facts. The fact of the matter is, it is still possible for us to make it to the World Cup.
Okay.
We are not mathematically out of the conversation. Practically, though, it's very unlikely. Our performances, I like what we did against Rwanda. It was a good performance and it was an encouraging display. But if you look at the whole of the qualifiers, we have 7 points from a possible 18. That is abysmal. That is unacceptable for a team of Nigeria's standard and caliber. Only Nigeria and South Africa are teams in this group that have won the Nations Cup before. No disrespect to the other teams, we should be dispatching them. Some of the permutations that we're going to be looking into this evening involve Nigeria winning all 4 matches to stand a chance. Not to guarantee qualification, to stand a chance. I cannot beat my chest, despite the fact that all the numbers could be put out there. I can't beat my chest and say, this Super Eagles team that have won just 1 out of 6 games can win 4 out of 4. If you can only get 7 out of 18, where is the confidence that you will get 12 out of 12?
Austin, before Shola joins us, let me get your thoughts. What marvels me, and I'm lost for words, really. We used to complain about our away form. I didn't know when our home form got this bad. We can't win at home. I don't know, I'm lost for words. Well, I don't want the emotions to come out. It's not, we don't have average players. Anybody saying that is just, being economical with the truth. You have the best player on the continent, on the field, the one who won it the year before, also on the field. So it's not a case of not having the players. So why can't we win at home?
It's tough, It's really tough because I remember when Gernot Rohr was saying that it takes a 10-year plan that we need to keep building, and then we must have where we're playing our football proper, just so these guys will get used to it. We lost to Central African Republic in Lagos, remember? We lost to Guinea-Bissau in Abuja, and then we've gotten some terrible draws from Uyo. So it's been all over the place. But I totally agree with you. That's a valid question. When we're playing Lesotho, why are we not winning? We're playing Zimbabwe, why are we not winning? Irrespective of where you take it. Take that game to Kafachan, take it to Maiduguri, take it anywhere. We should be beating these teams that I've mentioned. It just tells you there's something fundamental. The other guys are developing their football, and they're looking at Nigeria, and their morale gets boosted. Like, oh, we are not doing what we should do because we think that the name Nigeria is just enough to play it. That said, what about coaching decision? What about players' commitments? You see, there's just so much. Some of us, we asked questions at the time that you were going back and forth with Austin Aguavoin, Finidi George, Jose Pizarro. We said, get a man that will be long-term with this team. Get a coach that will understand what it means to put a team together and get them to, understand themselves and play to win. They needed to beat Rwanda, and we saw it in the first 11 minutes. There was a goal, and then we won comfortably by 2-0. And now you are in Uyo where you need to just show superiority. We had a first half that the Warriors of Zimbabwe bust. They were better with the strategies. They were better with playing purposeful football. They understood themselves. There was a good way they lock off the Super Eagles from not even stringing passes. That's a team that is at the bottom of the table, and they played us that good. So, there's a big problem. It's not just about where we play football at home. It's a lot of things. It's about the players.
Yeah, I agree with you.
It's about coaching. It's the whole football environment in the country. Mm-hmm. There must be some level of cleansing, and we must start doing that now.
We must start. Unfortunately, the time we have will not be enough for us to look at all the issues, but we'll touch on some. I'm going to turn my back and look at the screen and show our viewers what it looks like. It's not a pleasant job, but it's the job that I have. So what can I do? We're going to look at the results and the table. And just like Damiloju said, it is hard to imagine in a group that has only 2 past AFCON winners, Nigeria happens to be. Let me allow the table to do the talking. Let me just, the results today, qualification, CAF Zone, Group C, you have the Super Eagles of Nigeria, 3-time African champions, playing a 1-1 draw with Zimbabwe. South Africa needed to get a result, especially with the issues hanging over their head, and they did just that. Traveled, did the job on Benin Republic. And of course, Rwanda played a 1-1 draw with Lesotho. All of these results probably wouldn't have worried Nigeria much if we had done our own job. But let's see what the table looks like. And it's really hard to believe. You will think you're just waking up from a bad dream. But it's real. It is real. This is what it looks like. South Africa leading the way after 6 matches, having 13 points out of a possible 18. Closely followed by Rwanda, Republic of Benin, Nigeria, Lesotho, and Zimbabwe. Of particular interest to all of us is Nigeria having 7 points out of a possible 18. Damiloju, how do you explain this? Austin touched up on a lot of issues. Time will not allow us. There has to be a cleansing. I do agree. Is it the players? Is it the coaching? Is it the administrators? Is it Nigeria itself? What exactly is the problem?
I think we have a holistic problem. Unfortunately, this problem trickles down. There is the part where we are not doing all the things that we are supposed to do. Let's start from today's game. I had some issues with certain things that Eric Shell did. And I was one of those that really praised him in the first game against Rwanda because he made 1 or 2 tweaks that I think worked well. There is a popular saying that I love so much. It goes, if it's not broken, don't fix it. We had a situation where in the game against Rwanda, Eric Shell pretty much played Samuel Chukwueze as a holding midfielder alongside Ndidi. And Alex Iwobi got to play in a more advanced role that we've seen him do many times to great success at Fulham. And then I'm seeing today, Chukwueze is returned to the right wing, and he's very ineffective. Alex Iwobi also has to play deeper, where we've seen him not play so well for the Super Eagles. That is on Eric Shell. Also on Eric Shell, Olaino has been one of the best right backs in the Premier League this season for one of the most encouraging teams in the league in Nottingham Forest. You play him at left back on the first game. Yes, we get away with it. Why not have Bright Osayi-Samuel sit out this game, put Bruno Yemechi on the left,
natural
and
left back.
Exactly, and let Olaino play on the right. So there are issues that Eric Sekoshel could have sorted out. But the players as well, look at the goal that we conceded. We give William Troost-Ekong a lot of praise. He needs to be more active for that goal that we scored. We were lucky. There was a particular attempt that Stanley Wabali had to bail us out. We were very, very complacent in the game today. Austin spoke about the first half. I think the players were very lackluster in that first half. We are playing at home. These qualifiers, we've not won a game at home. That's totally unacceptable for a team like Nigeria. The players need to hold themselves accountable for some of the things that they've done. Decision-making today wasn't the best. I could remember so many times I was screaming at the TV, no, don't do that. Don't do that. The players have their issues. Like you said earlier, we don't have enough time to talk about all the administrative things.
We don't.
I just think we'll shot ourselves in the foot.
We've managed to shoot ourselves in the foot, and it's painful. I don't know what else to say. All right, let me yield back to Austin, and of course, it's going to bring in our guest who's going to contribute to all of the things we'll be saying. So, Austin, I yield to you. I don't know if you have anything to add to what Damiloju has said, but I must tell you that I agree 100%. Looking at it from the coaching perspective, those things he said, I don't understand why Olaino had to play at left back. He was largely ineffective. And you allowed him to stay there 90 minutes. I don't get it.
Yeah, and this is the problem. When persons were saying, oh, Finidi George isn't tactical, Finidi George doesn't have the disciplines, the strategies. I said, look, I'd rather have a coach who knows the team than bringing a new coach who would come to experiment. So what Eric Shell was trying to do was to fulfill his promise that he promised Nigerians attacking football. So he has looked at Samuel Chukwueze and said, oh, he plays with a bit of flair and he can dribble and forge ahead. But has he been an effective player, even with the Super Eagles from his natural position? No, it's part of the players that have been asking questions that, why is he here? So how much do you know of Samuel Chukwueze to now play him in that holding midfielder role? And he just turned everything around. And Alex Iwobi was now confused as regards running into the spaces. And at some point, Moses Simon and Ademola Lookman didn't even know where they should be on the pitch. It was just all over the place. So yes, I'm dumping this largely on player performance, but also coaching decision, cost what happened today. Yes, I heard Eric Shell say something about, oh, he wanted to just get more goals. Just to get more goals, you struggle to get a goal. You got a goal in the 74th minute, and you want to get more goals, and you know that our football is in a state where you just need to win. You need to win. So if it's not happening, you lock it. I would have brought in Alassane Yusuf and see whether I can, block it proper with Wilfred Ndidi and Alassane Yusuf, because at some point, even Wilfred Ndidi had shown signs of fatigue because these players were just all over the place. And the Warriors of Zimbabwe, they noticed, so they kept, stocking up the pressure. So yes, Eric Shell deserves some knocks, but the players, why I'm still dumping it on them is because it's still same old same. They understand this mission. They knew that they put themselves in this situation and they needed to get themselves out of it. This time around, it's even so difficult to call out the NFL because we can see all of, a bit of progress in the way the team, has come into this round of qualifiers. That you did what you did in Kigali and did what you did today in Uyo is just a no-no. That's a terrible project management plan that's, it's really tough. It's disappointing because we had everything locked in for us today. Win this game and the narrative would have changed. particularly with what we've been hearing about South Africa fielding an ineligible player in the game against Lesotho, and then we want to challenge it, and if they lose points, that would have been perfect for us to just get in there. How can we build and destroy?
I don't know what else to say. But we have to move on. And I also want to ask you this, Damilojo, if looking at all the angles, what could the players have done differently? You know, a lot of the times they will say, I was instructed to do this, I was sticking to the game plan. I looked for Ademola Lookman on the field, I didn't see him. All 90 minutes.
I think when you ask a question like what could the players have done, it always goes back to a conversation that has really dominated football in recent years about how much coaching is too much coaching, how much flexibility do you get to give to players. Austin mentioned something very important. There is a way that you understand the terrain that you're in. When you're 1-0 up and you have a game that you cannot afford to drop points. These players, some of them do the calculations as well. It's not just us that we do this mathematics. They needed to take those last 10 minutes by the scope of the net. That's it. Game management. Even if the coach doesn't make a defensive substitution, take out an attacker and bring out a defender, you need to be ready to put your body on the line. That's why I was very unhappy about the goal that we conceded. William Troost-Ekong should do a lot better. We just allowed that Zimbabwean attacker just walk right through the defense and eventually score the goal. So the players needed to show some heart. I'm not going to jump on the train and say, oh, winning ugly is beneath Nigeria. Okay, it is better to win brilliantly, right? But it is better to win than not to win. Yes. So if you cannot win brilliantly, win ugly. It took you 74 minutes to get the opening goal. The least you can do after that is ensure that you hold on to that advantage that you have. So yes, some of the players need to look themselves in the mirror and understand that in the final moments of that game, they let themselves down.
All right, let me, I mean, before we go on break, let me just go to Austin now and allow you. I mean, I had this conversation with Damilojo before we came into the studio, and there are two ways to look at it. Yes, the moral angle, if you want to put it that way, and the mathematics of this. And our viewers would want to hear it from us. So, the mathematics of it, we're not out. But the way we're playing is cause for worry. So, I mean, the issue now is, what would you say to all of this? Looking at the mathematics, would you say the fans should still be optimistic? We can't qualify. But if we play like this, if we continue playing like this, is there anything to be optimistic about?
No, Yemi. No. If we don't change the approach, then it's over. It's over. Before match day 5, we said the only way to get into the conversation, not to even say you've qualified, is to win your remaining 6 matches. That is the only thing that will get you talking. Now you've won your 6 matches, and so you can now go and take a look at the Group C table. This is where South Africa is, this is where Benin Republic is, and this is where Rwanda is at the moment. And with the way things were going after the game against Rwanda in Kigali, it was looking like, yes, we can have that conversation. But with the way they played today, even their body language, you could tell that they're already tired. I think at some point I saw Victor Osimhen almost in tears because they know now that they've made it tougher for themselves. It's now very, very difficult. And you went to that Group C table and you could see there yourself, particularly with South Africa. Before today, we're saying that South Africa needed to drop 5 points. But now we've made it difficult. They need to drop about 7 or 8. Even if they find South Africa guilty of fielding an ineligible player, we still will be behind South Africa. So we've put ourselves in a very difficult situation because first thing first, I mean, before you go on, let's even use normal research study that we did in school. Before you get on that research study, you do your statement of problem. It is from that statement of problem you analyze.
Okay, Austin, I might need to quickly butt in quickly because we need to go on a quick time out. So let's take all of that in one breath. We'll come back for more. Well, the conversation in the studio, very interesting. Unfortunately, some of the things couldn't be said out loud. Anyways, Austin, you were making a point about how difficult it is going to be for the Super Eagles. In one breath, we're still in the conversation, but our performance does not inspire confidence in anybody.
That's right. And I mean, I think the best way to explain it is, yes, we're still in the conversation, but we're not the ones doing the talking. People can only just talk about us. In other words, we do not have our destiny in our hands. And that's a very terrible situation you want to find yourself in. Let me bring in football data analyst right here in London with me. Shola Edegbele joins us on the show. Shola, good to have you on Sports Tonight.
Hello, good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for having me back on the show today.
Fantastic. Shall I tell me, A, B, or C, which best describes your mood? A, disappointed. B, shattered. C, heartbroken.
I'm going to go with C today. I'm definitely heartbroken, Austin.
What happened? Was it the sort of performance you're expecting from the Super Eagles?
I think today is a very, very sad day for Nigerian football in terms of our destiny and fate, as you mentioned, is now out of our hands. In terms of the performance, I think the coach, some of his decisions were quite questionable, i.e., we have Samuel Chukwueze, a natural winger, being asked to play in the central midfield. We had Ole Aina, one of the best right-backs in the Premier League, playing at left-back. We had the African Player of the Year, Lukman, being told to play deeper at the tip of the diamond as an attacking midfielder. So we had a lot of players that were being played out of position to accommodate the manager's principles. And if you remember last week on our conversation on this channel, I asked the question, will the manager enforce his principles or will he play the Nigerian way? It looks like he's come in and tried to adopt his own style of play, which is good, but it's come at the detriment to the team in that we now have players playing out of position, and we could see that with the disjointed performance.
Wow. Shola, my colleague Yemi asked me this question. I want to throw it back at you. Where does this leave us? Try hard not to look at the group table. Just talk about the football itself. Is there any light at the end of this tunnel?
Unfortunately, it's difficult for me to say this, but I do not see South Africa slipping this opportunity. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Go to the World Cup in the USA. If you ask South Africans when this table was drawn, if they would be in this position, I don't think they would have expected to be in this position with such a wide gap in front of the Super Eagles. So there's no way they will give us a chance. Even if we do go and beat South Africa, in South Africa, I don't think we will even qualify as one of the top-ranking second-place teams to meet the playoff. At this point, we have to ask ourselves, as a nation, what lessons did we learn from Qatar? We didn't qualify in Qatar. What lessons did we learn from that? We kept changing coaches. It looks like we've done it again with this World Cup qualification. We've used the bulk of the same players, again, for this qualification, and it's the same results. So what are we going to do differently moving forward? I think that's the question we need to start asking ourselves. We can't keep making the same mistake and expecting different results.
Damilola, I don't know. It's difficult, and you can see that Shola is struggling with the conversation also, but you're right there in Lagos, and I'm sure you can feel the mood. Is there hope anywhere coming for the Super Eagles?
A lot of Nigerians are not hopeful. Immediately after the game, I saw part of the game at the office, and the moment I stepped out of the office, I had a conversation with some of those around, and it felt like you had let an air out of a balloon. That's exactly how it felt to me when the game was done this evening, because like Yemi said earlier, a lot of enthusiasm and encouragement happened after the Rwanda game, and we started the show talking about how the formula that we're going to use to calculate has changed. A lot of Nigerians have seen 6 matches where we've won only 1 match. There is no optimism, there is no hope that we can go on and make it 4 out of 4. Let me make it more concerning. South Africa are undefeated in over 20 matches. The last time they actually lost a game, I know we defeated them on penalties at the AFCON, but the last time they actually lost a game was early on in the AFCON. I think the very first game at the AFCON tournament, they lost. But if we're talking about in 90 minutes, South Africa have not lost in over 20 games. So this is a team that we now need. Let's even assume that they get docked 3 points for this situation of, oh, they fielded an ineligible player. That will keep them 3 points ahead of us. And let's understand that if that happens, it means 3 points will go to Lesotho, and Lesotho will climb above Nigeria. So now we'll be chasing Lesotho, Rwanda, Benin, and South Africa. We're going to need to beat those 4 teams. Yes, those are the 4 teams that we play. And we're going to need South Africa to also drop points somewhere else that is not us. Do we see them dropping more than 3 points? Do we see them dropping points at all? Do you see Nigeria winning all the games? It's looking like a whole lot of calculations, but I do not trust Nigeria to do their side of the bargain.
Yeah, me, I don't know. We've been doing this show for close to 10 years now. Have we ever been in this sort of terrible situation trying to analyze football?
No, it's never this bad. I mean, there have been times where, I mean, it was over before you knew it was over in those playoff situations.
Yeah.
But a scenario where you're staring at the possibility of not qualifying and you can't do anything about it. I don't think we've experienced that. And it's really sad. We saw this happening, and it just appears like we're not going to be able to do anything about it. I know a lot of things we should be talking about, we've not been able, but maybe I should just throw this in for Shola before we let him go. Damiloju painted a scenario of, okay, what happens if they get docked 3 points? But let's say that doesn't happen. Does the mathematics allow us any space?
Yes, we can still qualify if that does not happen, but that's on the account that South Africa dropped points. Looking at South Africa's recent form in the last 2 years, I don't see them slipping this up. So regardless of whether we drop points, whether they drop points or not, I think it's practically over now.
Okay, we could go on and on, but I want to thank Shola Degwele for his time on the show. I wish it was under better circumstances, but we have a job to do and we have to do it. Thank you for your time. Hopefully, we'll have this kind of conversation some other time.
Thank you so much for having me, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right. Okay, so we'll do our best not to refer to the Super Eagles till the end of the show. It's not really easy to do. But also, let's talk about Nigeria's Mini Olympics. Of course, that is the National Sports Festival. And of course, that event that usually marks the countdown to the games, which is the flag of the lighting of the torch.
It's going to take place, I think, May the 16th till the 30th this year. Hopefully nothing comes against that date, but we're getting ready. And whenever we flag off the Touch of Unity, we know that we're getting ready for the festival, the 22nd edition. And you can see pictures don't lie. Right there, the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, flagging off the Touch of Unity. I see the DG of the National Sports Commission, Bukola Olopade, the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, also present, and some officials of the NSC. And this is a big one because the Touch of Unity, it has just one message. It goes around the different states of the Federation, promoting peace and unity. And it tells you that sports has got that power to turn it around. So the entire officials right there with the president. And this is what we're talking about. When we said, let's have the National Sports Commission, it's because we want this sort of conversations to happen. We want the presidency to be involved. And now that the president gets proper briefing and knows everything that is happening around the National Sports Commission, National Sports Commission and the National Sports Festival, it means we are ready to see something different. You know what? The first listening to the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, and then listen to the president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's all about the flagging of the Touch of Unity. We're getting set for the 22nd edition of the National Sports Festival.
Please keep clapping this talking. Yes, I'm ready to welcome to the chairman of the Sports Commission. Who goes now and hand it over to the chairman of the local organizing committee.
The Sports Festival clearly aligns and speaks to the foregoing reforms framework and objectives. Therefore, the National Sports Commission is doing all that is required in collaboration with all stakeholders to upscale and ensure the organization of the best games ever in the upcoming Gateway Games Ogun State. That will set a marker for future games. In this respect, several activities have already been carried out in preparation for the games. Today's activities is one of the series culminating in the event proper. It is worthy to note that the National Sports Festival is a Nigerian version of the Olympics, and it requires a collective determination to exhibit the spirit of fair play and sportsmanship. Furthermore, Mr. President may wish to note that for the first time in the history of the Games, and in furtherance to Mr. President's agenda for the youth, the Commission has invited the best junior athletes in Nigeria to participate at the Games under the sponsorship of the Commission. These junior athletes will compete at the Games under the name Invited Junior Athletes, IJA, which will be captured as a 38 states of the Federation, so we can give our youth a pathway to greatness. The flame that will be ignited today will travel through states, towns, and villages, reminding us of the power of sports to unite, inspire, and propel us as a nation towards greatness. As Mr. President flag off this ceremony today, we are not just beginning a sporting event, we are beginning an era of renewed hope and shared prosperity, as well as excitement for all Nigerians, most especially the youth involved in sports. This festival will provide us with an opportunity to showcase the talents of our athletes, demonstrate our commitment to fostering excellence in sports, and inspiring the next generation to pursue their dreams, both on and off the field.
As the proud host of the 22nd National Sports Festival, tagged Ogun Gateway Games 2024, scheduled for May 16th to May 30th, 2025, Ogun State is fully prepared. We are not only ready to host over 10,000 athletes and officials, but also to warmly welcome guests and supporters from every corner of the Federation. For the first time in the history of National Sports Festival, all our athletes will be housed within a single purpose-built facility, ensuring comfort, convenience, and camaraderie.
The Games represents much more than just a competition for athletic skills. They embody the unity, strength, and resilience that defines us as a nation. Every step we take together towards the festival is not merely an act of preparation for a reporting event, but a reaffirmation of our collective commitment to nation building through sports. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate this administration's commitment to supporting and providing an enabling environment and incentives for sport development at all levels. Therefore, I call on the public and private sector to continue to play active roles in Nigerian sport development, particularly in infrastructural development, talent identification, and nurturing and sponsorship of sporting events. Many of the organizations have been doing so, but I call for more. As we eagerly anticipate the commencement of the festival in Abeokuta, Ogun State on May 16, 2025, I am honored to flag off the moment of the Touch of Unity, and I am confident that collective effort will continue to inspire us as we all pray for the successful journey of the torch across the 36 states of Nigeria and FCT.
Love it. I love the conversations. I've just listened to the chairman of the National Sports Commission, Shehu Diko, the governor of Ogun State, Dapo Abiodun, and the president of the federation, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Oluwadami Loju. This is the sort of conversations we want to hear. And after all said and done, at this flag off ceremony, you can now tell that we are ready for the 22nd edition of the National Sports Festival.
It looks like a step in the right direction, and it looks like Ogun State is letting the rest of Nigeria know that we can put our trust and faith in them, that they can actually get this thing over the line. We know the National Sports Festival has been an event that has suffered one too many postponements. Now that we are so close to officially getting it over the line, I don't want to see any more hitches. That conversation, very, very encouraging. Hopefully, sooner rather than later, we get the flag off.
Yeah, Ogun State happens to be a state that has a lot of experience hosting this. I think they did it in 2006, around 2011 as well. And it so happens that the DG now was sports commissioner during the time. So, I mean, we're in capable hands, that's for sure. And I hope the Sports Festival gets to achieve its aim, and hopefully it will foster unity, which is more important than any other thing. And I also hope, from a journalistic perspective, that it will get coverage, which is very, very important. We don't just want to be reading, oh, this one is on top, this one is on. Let's see it.
Visuals.
Let's see it. Let's see what's going on. I think that's an appeal to the organizers, Sports Commission and Ogun State, ensure that we get to see everything. It may not be round the clock, but at least the major events, maybe daily highlights, anything, just put it on TV for us.
So we can showcase this athletes and everybody can see them.
Showcase it. I think that would be very good. All right, so that's all we can take on the National Sports Festival. Let's quickly move on the show. Spend a few minutes we have to talk about the league. So it's going to be ladies first tonight. Let's talk about the ladies. I'll go across to just quickly run you through the matches to be played tomorrow. Match day 9 fixtures in Group A and Group B. Let me just quickly go across, Damiloju. You know all of this already, but I'll just quickly read for our viewers. Abia Angels, starting with Group A, Abia Angels up against Edo Queens, Heartland Queens up against Ekiti Queens, Remo Stars ladies up against Confluence Queens, Danas ladies will take on Nazwa Amazons. In Group B, Ibom Angels will be up against Rivers Angels, Niger Ratels take on Adamawa Queens, FC Udobo Queens take on Benue Queens, Delta Queens will try on Bayelsa Queens for size. In a minute, if you can, what are your expectations? Match day 9, what are you hoping to see? I'm
really excited by two matches in Group A. The first one is Abia Angels up against Edo Queens. 4 points separate both sides. Edo Queens are first, Abia Angels are third. Abia Angels know that a victory will move them as close as it can get to Edo Queens. Lucky Mary is the second highest goal scorer in the NWFL. She might have a lot to say about the home team. I also want to see how Remo Stars ladies bounce back from that shock defeat last time out where they were defeated by Nasarawa Amazons. There is no better team to play in the NWFL when you want to get your form back than Confluence Queens, who have won just one match. So those are two matches that I will be keeping a close eye on. Of course, in Group B, Delta Queens against Bayelsa Queens is also likely to be an absolute slugfest.
All right, let's just quickly take a look at what the table is telling us. Let's see. All right, start with Group A. And of course, you don't want your team to be in red. It's not a place you want the team to be. But 1, 2, 3, good spot. Of course, they'll get a chance to be in that Super 6. Edo Queens, Remo Stars, Abia Angels currently occupying the position for now. We'll see what happens after match day 9. Let's see Group B, Bayelsa Queens, Rivers Angels, Niger Ratels after 8 matches. Then, of course, Benue Queens in that red spot. You already know what it means. All right, let's see if we can quickly also talk about the guys quickly as we can. There you have it. Tomorrow's fixtures, Kwara United up against Nasarawa United. It's match day 31 for the guys. Kano Pillars will take on Bendel Insurance. Sunshine Stars, the Akure Gunners will be up against Heartland. Abia Warriors will be up against Lobby Stars. Bayelsa United will take on Rivers United. All of these matches will be played tomorrow. On Thursday, you have El Kanami Warriors will take on Shooting Stars, that's 3SC. Rangers International, the Flying Antelopes, will be up against Plateau United. Remo Stars will take on Eyimba, the Aba Elephants. And Aqua United, the Promise Keepers, up against Niger Tornado. Then Ikorodu City will be up against Katsina United. These are the matches to be played on Thursday. All right. And this is what it looks like. Top 4 and bottom 4. Remo Stars, Rivers United, Abia Warriors, Shooting Stars, in that order, making up the top 4. Then on the bottom 4, Atlant, the Nazar Millionaires, Nasarawa United, Sunshine Stars, Akure Gunners, and Lobby Stars in the bottom 4 with just 8 matches left to be played. Lobby Stars have an outstanding game. We'll see what they're able to do with that one. And of course, Remo Stars, it seems they're just, blasting past everyone. Austin, we're pressed for time, but maybe in a minute, what are you expecting to see in the matches, midweek matches, and the ones on Thursday?
Definitely, the teams fighting relegation will really get us talking. If you check from where Kwara United are on the table till I think 19th, it's just only Lobby Stars that is confirmed. Everyone is not safe. But shout out to Aqua United, did just enough to win their last game in Ilorin by 2-0, their first away win. So that has not put them into a proper campaign to fight for survival. There's also Nasarawa United in there that is saying, look, we cannot blink. There's Sunshine Stars in there also. Heartland is in there. Bayelsa United, Plateau United, and I mentioned Kwara United. So all of those teams here that I've mentioned, if you're playing them now, it's big problems. For instance, Kwara United and Nasarawa United will cancel themselves out. So there must be a winner. And if you follow the league, you want to say it's Kwara United. But hey, this is the time where every point matters. But we'll love to see what will happen in the game between Remo Stars and Eyimba. That's one we really define a lot, particularly with Rivers United applying pressure. I love it so much. Let's keep talking about the MPFL. We'll be back to see what match day 31 will give us. That's the show. In London, I'm Austin Okonakpan. In everything you do, remember, keep talking sports. Bye for now.
Well, it's a wrap here in Lagos as well, but I want to thank Oluwadam Leju Sali for his time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hopefully, we'll do this again some other time.
Definitely.
Under better circumstances.
Yes, I love that.
All right, that's the show today. We do hope you enjoyed everything we've been able to bring to you. We'll be here again tomorrow. Take you on the trip across the money spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye.